My name is Robert Amsterdam, and I serve as counsel for the last 8 years to both Bobi Wine, the presidential candidate in Uganda that we believe won the last election, and his political party. In a circumstance where everyone agrees he has committed no crime other than to once again win the hearts and minds of the people of Uganda.
That's his crime.
International law, what Mr. Muhoozi lacks is courage and integrity. He believes, as does his father, that they own Uganda.
Yep.
That Uganda is their feudal fiefdom. They are colonialists.
Thank you.
And they are in the process of internally colonizing Uganda as their possession, not as a free and democratic society. We are intent on requesting the Commonwealth to suspend Uganda until such time as it returns to becoming a rule of law state.
Yes. And yes, indeed, presenting to you from these United States of the America, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you're watching me and at whatever time you might watch this conversation. My name is Mordecai Morisa, and you're welcome to Mordecai Morisa Live. Yes, I am back with a bang. Ready? Ready to go? Let's do this. I want to extend my appreciation, I should say, to everyone that has sent in their prayers and wishes. I've been struggling. I've been sick for the past few days, fighting this weird fever and this attack on my voice. And I think I'm regaining my voice one more time. You can tell. I got a glass of warm water here. So if you see me drinking, don't think, hey, Mordecai, are you sipping on Ugandan alcoholic gin cold water? Absolutely not. It is H2O. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really impressed by Robert Amsterdam, counsel to Bobi Wine, who has been so much interested in the liberation of the Ugandan people. He came out and said Uganda should be suspended or expelled from the Commonwealth because it has completely become a lawless nation, a lawless state. I agree. I 100% agree. Uganda should be suspended from all those international bodies. I mean, it's a joke what we have become. And I know, just a mere saying of this, you have these self-appointed Pan-Africans and patriots who are going to be like, Mordecai, you want those people to colonize us. They always have one talking point. You are a colonizer, imperialist sympathizer. And okay, I'm going to play the video of Robert Amsterdam, but let's try to unpack what they mean when they use that as a gotcha, talking point. You are a sympathizer of the colonizers or imperialists. They're trying to imply that, colonizers are going to come and take away your rights. Colonizers are going to steal or plunder from your country. They think that, if you're being colonized, your country will remain underdeveloped. So all those things mentioned above are things I see in Uganda, despite of the fact that we don't have a colonizer there. We have a Ugandan Museveni. Of course, there's a contestation whether he's a Ugandan or not, but let's say he's an African man. Many people are being abducted. Many are tortured. Many are disappeared. Others are murdered by our own people. every bad thing we're afraid that a colonizer may do unto us, is being done unto us by our own. So shut up with that. Oh, Mordecai, you want the West to control Africa. So if they do, if we were any better, then I would say, no, we don't want them. But everything we complain, we fought the colonizers to leave us for, is what we see in Uganda. So what difference does it make? Let's go and listen to Robert Amsterdam here. Amazing points he raises. Listen here.
My name is Robert Amsterdam, and I serve as counsel for the last 8 years to both Bobi Wine, the presidential candidate in Uganda that we believe won the last election, and his political party. We are all who are engaged in Uganda today shocked and appalled by the continuous stream of statements coming from Muhoozi with respect to...
Let's pause here. Read that. If you're not from Uganda, this is the commander of our defense forces. He has security. He heads security in Uganda. All security forces are under him. He's writing about the political opponent of his dad, Bobi Wine. He refers to him as Kabobi, which can loosely be interpreted as little Bobi Wine. So he says, we are most certainly hunting for little Bobi Wine. He's wanted dead or alive. It doesn't matter how long it takes us, we will get him. This sounds like a colonizer language, and maybe not even to that extent. And then you want to convince me that a colonizer is so bad if this rhetoric is being used by my own. Why am I afraid of a colonizer?
Searching for the president, Mr. Wine, dead or alive.
Did you read that? We have killed 22 NUP terrorists. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't have these terrorists in Uganda, the 22. The National Unity Platform, a political party Bobi Wine leads. You have the son of the president bragging about killing members of a political party. I am praying that the 23rd is Kabobi. You know, the apartheid regime announced or declared Nelson Mandela as a terrorist. The apartheid regime. So, Nelson Mandela fought against the apartheid regime and it fell in the 90s. What's the difference? Tell me the difference between the apartheid regime and this man, Muhoozi Kainerugaba. Speak to me like a kindergartner. And I can tell you, maybe the apartheid regime denied the atrocities they committed onto the South African people. This is our commander-in-chief bragging about killing Ugandans.
The president, Mr. Wine, dead or alive, in a circumstance where everyone agrees he has committed no crime other than to once again win the hearts and minds of the people of Uganda.
That's his crime.
International law is limited in terms of what remedies we have against individuals such as Muhoozi who indiscriminately murder political opponents because they don't have the courage.
Look at that footage. That's Bobi Wine being manhandled by security agencies in the 2021 election.
Courage to face them in debate. What Mr. Muhoozi lacks is courage and integrity. Mm-hmm. He believes, as does his father, that they own Uganda.
Yep.
That Uganda is their feudal fiefdom. Mm-hmm. They are colonialists.
Thank you.
And they are in the process of internally colonizing Uganda as their possession, not as a free and democratic society.
Now, I'm sorry for pausing again. I had someone who said, either way, you're going to have to choose whether you have a local colonizer or a foreign colonizer. How about I don't want any colonizer? I don't want any man above me. I want men among men. I want neighbors. I want friends. I want Mordecai among Mordecais. Bobi Wine among other Bobi Wines. I don't want anybody special. I'm not asking for special treatment. I don't want any special privileges. Absolutely not. I don't want to be treated in a special way. Absolutely not. I want to be treated like a human being with dignity. That's it. That's all I'm asking for. So somebody who said, either way, you're going to have to choose between a local or an international colonizer. I'm not choosing neither of them.
In 1991, the Commonwealth came together and issued a declaration called the Harare Declaration. And that declaration, with which my firm is quite familiar, sets out many guarantees with respect to the behavior of governments, guarantees concerning freedom of expression, guarantees concerning freedom of association. And let me remind the government of Uganda of what is contained in the Ugandan constitution, which all parties seem to have lost sight of. And I can sit here today and talk about Articles 21 through 38 of the Ugandan constitution.
Every person shall have the right to freedom of speech and expression, which shall include freedom of press and other media, freedom of thought, conscience, and belief, freedom to assemble and to demonstrate together with others peacefully. I think there was a gentleman who was arrested yesterday for demonstrating peacefully. They've been stopping cars and asking people to open their phones. If you have photos of Bobi Wine, then you are tortured, you are arrested. It is so sad. And last time I had a conversation here, I said there's that quote that I'm going to paraphrase here. It says, "I'm afraid this might be another planet is hell." I sort of believe that, because what Robert Amsterdam is asking the Ugandan government is, please, can you love your people? Can you treat your people with respect? Can you serve your people? Imagine that. Why don't they call out his bluff? They'll be like, okay, you want us to give people right to to protest peacefully? Hey, you have that right. But the NRM, Museveni acolytes, Museveni sympathizers are extremely angry against Robert Amsterdam because he's telling them, hey, I think it's just a good thing to treat people with respect and kindness and love. That's a bar too high. Really? Jeez.
But what I am going to say is this. We are intent on requesting the Commonwealth to suspend Uganda until such time as it returns to becoming a rule of law state.
Yes.
Our options are limited, but they are not negligible. And we are also going to ask all those countries that engage in either donor programs or commercial relationships to understand that Uganda today is acting as an outlaw.
Yep.
And there are international sanctions, there are international tools or mechanisms whereby corporations and countries do not have to be made complicit in these human rights abuses.
Exactly.
But corporate complicity is something that we are as well exploring. Just as we have for the Democratic Republic of Congo, we will explore those options for the opposition, those who should actually be forming the government of Uganda. I urge all of those frustrated and angered by the behavior of those pretending to be a government, but in fact behaving like a military junta, to stick to strictly legal methods of opposition.
Strictly stick to legal methods of the opposition or of opposition. I can guarantee you, Museveni acolytes, like I mentioned, they will skip that. They'll be like, okay, that imperialist, that colonizer wants people to get guns. No. And that's what Bobi Wine was saying throughout his 90-day campaigns, more than actually 90 days. He kept on asking his people, remain peaceful, be legal, but be courageous and firm, but do not break any law. And that's what we are doing. Staying on the right side of the law.
But carry with yourselves at all times your phones to record the abuses of the army and the police, which are constant and which are being deployed against the very principles for which the Harare Declaration stands. And I want everyone in Uganda to know that we are in solidarity with the people of Uganda, and that this crime of a stolen election will not be forgotten. Thank you very much.
Amazing.
I also tell you that we must never give up. Uganda is our country, and we must fight and liberate it.
We must never give up. Absolutely. Now, like I said, these are Museveni sympathizers, friends of the Museveni regime, will ignore where we say we're going to remain legal. They'll be like, you want those people to come and take over our country? Absolutely not. Like I said, call out our bluff. Be like, okay, you want people to have a right to protest? There you go. You be like, okay, you want some folks to be held accountable for their thievery? Okay, so-and-so should be sent to prison. Okay, you want so-and-so to be held accountable for committing this crime? Absolutely. This, if you do this, Ugandans won't have to complain. But isn't it so funny that our complaints are, please, don't steal from the poor people. And if you do, you should be held accountable. That, to Museveni, is a crime. How did this become so controversial? That's saying, hey, you don't have a right to abduct people, to torture people and kill them. That shouldn't be controversial. These so-called African liberators are so funny. They get angry because you're telling them, I think you shouldn't abduct people. When did that become so controversial? That I am enemy of the state because I'm saying, I don't support Museveni, I support Bobi Wine. Oh, now that makes me a complete terrorist. It is laughable. It is laughable. How? Oh, Mordecai, why are you asking for the right things? You should be an accomplice in lawlessness and impunity. No, I'm not going to be. And I'm going to die on that hill over demanding for equal rights, for justice, for the rule of law, for the respect of human rights, for constitutionalism. Oh my God. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, it shouldn't be difficult, but there you got some governments in Africa, and not necessarily in Africa. I don't want it to sound like I'm only trying to seem like I'm accusing Africa of being opposed to the democratic means. Absolutely not. It is being done in so many other countries, but I'm referring so much to Africa because that's where I come from. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so glad that we have folks like Robert Amsterdam standing up and standing in solidarity with us. Change is going to come. Do not lose hope. Do not lose hope. It has never been easy. We usually talk about the 27 years of Nelson Mandela at Robben Island. But you go back to so many years of them fighting. You can go back and look at the liberation struggles, ending slavery or standing against the Jim Crow, like I mentioned, ending apartheid, the end of colonization in Africa. It took quite some time, quite some fighting. That so many of our founding leaders really paid huge prices. The Kabalegas being a exiled the Mwanga and others. So, if we fall, we just have to pick ourselves and go. In the words of a fan, you can listen to the song. If you're lost and alone or you're sinking like a stone, carry on. We've got to carry on. That's it for now. As I announce my return to this microphone, Mordecai Morisa Live. I'll see you later. Bye-bye for now.